Hi guys, Jenny from Bear Wellness. So I just want to talk about 5 main ways to lower your insulin and improve your ability to burn your own body fat. So number one, and you guys are going to know, obviously, it's going to come to what you eat and when you eat. So that's number one and number two, actually. But so the first one would be eating a lower carbohydrate diet. Really, weight loss comes down to your insulin and your insulin levels. And one of the things that we teach at Bear is that when you take out the processed foods, you take out the processed carbohydrates, you drop your carbohydrate load, and that load is different for everybody. You don't necessarily have to go into ketosis, although we are a fan of utilizing ketosis as a tool for the short term to heal. But taking that personalized carbohydrate load and keeping it low most days of the week. So you drop your insulin. So you could eat keto, low carb, primal, wherever it is wherever you are in your journey. Number two would be fasting. So because that also affects your insulin levels. So whether it's intermittent fasting, I usually start people off at that 12 to 14 hour mark. I get everybody up to a baseline of 16-ish, and then maybe even 18 to 20. With one day during the week, you do a little bit, you kind of push that a little bit. Maybe you get to 20, maybe you get to 22. I have some people that do extended fasting going into the 36, 42 hours. But of course, that's monitored and only when they're ready and they've processed and cleared to do so. So lower carbohydrate diet, whole food, lots of vegetables, high quality. Then you add in your fasting. Eat sometimes, eat and don't eat other times. It really all comes down to what you eat, not just what you eat, but when you eat as well. In fact, some people think it actually has more to do with when you eat than what you eat, but I'll always be a food quality proponent. Number three, of course, is exercise. And the choice and the timing of the exercise is just as important. So just like with food, it matters what and when, exercise matters what and when. Lifting weights and then doing your cardio or doing your workout in a HIIT style is way more beneficial as far as lowering your insulin level. But also what it does is it takes your muscles and actually makes your muscles be more sensitive to the ability to uptake that to take in the glucose. So it does it two different ways. One, it is more sensitive to insulin, so it doesn't need or require as much insulin, so that it takes up that glucose levels go down, body stops pumping out the pancreas stops pumping out the insulin in a healthy person. And the more that you do this, and the more that you eat this way, and the more that you exercise, the more sensitive that feedback loop will be. Number two, though, is that it actually gives for a short term after the exercise, particularly with weight training and HIIT style exercise workouts, your muscle is able to actually open up and take in that glucose without the insulin. Without the insulin. So your muscle is it becomes a sink for the glucose that's floating around. So utilizing two different ways, you can utilize this concept two different ways. One, you want to do some fasted workouts because you're able to then burn that your body's in much more likely insulin levels are low, so they can access your body fat, you can access those cells, open up the cells, stimulate lipolysis and start to burn that body fat. But then also, if you time that to say, that you're going to have a carbier meal, and you jump down and do some burpees or do some squats or do some push-ups, do some high intensity just for a few minutes, a few seconds before you go out to that restaurant, before you go eat that high carbier meal. Your body's going to process that easier. It's going to sink in those glucose better. So that's number three. Number four is stress. And then this is often overlooked. This is important. When we're stressed, when we're chronically stressed, our cortisol levels go up. Our oxytocin goes down. Our ability to process and to metabolize glucose goes down. We start storing that glucose, but also the body makes more glucose. So even if you're not eating more, your body is creating more glucose. So glucose is floating around in your blood. The pancreas starts pumping out more insulin. You're already insulin resistant as it is. So now you have all this insulin running around, all this glucose running around. And all this inflammation because you have the cortisol going. So it is a cycle that just kind of cycles around, and then you get more stressed, and then you get more hungry, and then you eat more, and then it's the cycle. So obviously stress in small doses is necessary, and life is stressful. It is just the state of the human being. However, what you have control over is how you respond to stress and the lifestyle habits that you put into place in order to increase your resilience to stress. This is important. Having a practice, a lifestyle practice that builds resilience, both mentally and physically, can significantly make a difference to the way that you respond to stress in your life. So things, meditation, yoga, walks outside, purposely stimulating your oxytocin, so hugs and kisses with those that you love, creating art, walking your dog, playing with your kids, singing, dancing, getting outside, doing things that are pleasurable and connective increases your oxytocin, which automatically there's an inverse reaction or interrelationship between oxytocin and cortisol. So purposely trying to increase your oxytocin throughout the day through love, connection, creation. And then number 5, of course, is sleep. So there's no way around it. Sleep is a very important thing. Now, whether or not it's 8 hours or 8 hours through, can be debated about what we actually need. But you need what you need to experiment with yourself, with your life, with your, whether you get an Oura ring or a watch and you see how many REM cycles you're doing. You do a journal to see how you're feeling in the morning and if that makes a difference. But when we're underslept, we do things like, so first of all, it puts us in a stressful scenario. It increases our cortisol, which increases our glucose, which increases our insulin, to see the connection. All of those increases our inflammation. Again, that's going to hold on body fat. You make poor decisions when you are tired, and you tend to eat worse. So it's again this cycle, and it's also, it messes not just with your insulin and your glucose, but also it messes sleep. Not having enough sleep messes with your leptin and your ghrelin. So it's a whole cascade of hormonal disruption when we're not getting enough sleep. Never mind the whole circadian aspect. So drop your carbs, eat real food. It's important when you eat. So eat sometimes, don't eat other times. Learn and practice purposeful stress resilience in your life to increase your stress resilience. Work on mind mastery so that you are a co-creator with life and not a reactor with life. I skipped exercise. I flipped those. So exercise, but it's exercise and movement are two different things. So weight training and HIIT style exercise is way better than those long, slow, steady runs and bikes. Now, not that you can do that for fun and for play and for performance. If that is your sport, that's awesome, but make sure that you're getting some HIIT style and some weight training along in there. It's not a calorie in, calorie out. You're not going to out cycle or outrun your bad diet, especially not in the long run, especially not when you look at longevity and disease prevention. So making sure, and then also it's about movement all day. It's not, I talk a lot about, like, you can't just go do 1 hour of high intensity, like balls to the walls, CrossFit style workout, and then not move for the rest of the day. Health, wellness, longevity really comes down to primal movements all day. Like, get a pull-up bar in your house and hang on that pull-up bar. Squat in between don't sit for more than an hour. Get up and do 30 squats. Do some random burpees throughout the day. Move your body. Take a long, slow walk with your dog or those that you love, because that long, slow walk not only will help your stress resilience, but it will also help build your spike your oxytocin. So it's a big cycle. But movement, parking far away and walking going up the stairs, dancing in the kitchen, moving. You want to push, pull, twist, dance, move, breathe, learn how to stand. And then sleep well. Really learn about good sleep hygiene. You can learn all of this in the BEAR program. So bearwellness.org, or get on my Facebook, my Instagram, hit me up. I will give you a call. We'll figure out how you would best fit into this program and what we could teach you and how you could improve your ability to burn your fat. All right, guys, have a great day.